Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier, we were discussing Clemson joining FSU, looking to exit the ACC, and now we're going to be talking about NFL free agency and the Dallas Cowboys. But before we do that, I just wanted to remind you guys to like and follow the show. We get a number of questions from viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on the air, I ask that you use the tips and donation link with your question. That link is GSMCPodcast.net. Let's put your question at the top of the list so that I can see it, and it just also really helps the show. So we'd appreciate it.
I like it. You may be playing injured, but you're still putting out that all-star performance.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I like to see. Talk about stepping up to the plate.
Mm-hmm. We just got more of a mellow version of Faith today. That's all it is.
Nah, you're excellent, Faith. I'm happy to have you on your injured day.
Thank you. Alrighty, so it seems that some people are pretty upset about how the Dallas Cowboys are acting when it comes to free agency. So it always made sense that the Dallas Cowboys wouldn't be a huge player this offseason. They have to worry about what comes next with CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons extensions. But that's why the team's owner, Jerry Jones, shouldn't have gotten anyone's hope up with his all-in speech. The two words,
the all-in just keeps coming up. Yeah, are you noticing this?
Words we've been hearing about since what? When
the end of the playoffs.
Months
Before
ago.
I think it was before the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Cowboy fans aren't happy with the lack of activity after Jones set that expectation. In fact, they've lost some big players like Pollard, offensive line, Tyrone Smith, and Tyler Biadasz, and defensive lineman Durance Armstrong Jr. It's so bad that Cowboys executive vice president Stephen Jones had to calm the fans' nerves and walk back the all-in rhetoric. The Cowboys being passive in free agency always made sense. It's why the franchise owner shouldn't have been getting the fan base excited going into it. So I know that you are a Cowboys fan, and for all the viewers out there,
I'm a huge Cowboy fan.
Tate is a big Dallas Cowboys fan. So, first, as a Cowboys fan, I would like to hear how you feel about it, and then I would like to hear your professional opinion.
I'm a level-headed Cowboy fan. There are some Cowboy fans that are not realistic. When they hear Jerry Jones said, "Hey, we're all in." Mm-hmm. That means like, oh, Jerry's going out. He's going to get Patrick Mahomes. He's going to bring in Russell Wilson.
Good luck.
Good luck with that. He's bringing in Aaron Rodgers too. Mm-hmm. He's bringing Tony Dorsett and Emmitt Smith out of retirement. You got to be realistic on what your definition of all in.
Yeah.
The Cowboys are doing Cowboy things, which many people disagree with me on, but I think they're one of the best ran organizations in football. Mm-hmm. The Cowboys haven't been the big splashy free agent signing team since back when they brought in Deion Sanders a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Dallas tends to their definition of going all in is going out and drafting their players that they want, re-signing their people in-house. When Jerry Jones was talking about we're all in, it was we're all in on bringing Dak back. We're all in on making sure Micah Parsons stays there. We're all in on making sure CeeDee Lamb is in. But when you, as a Cowboy fan, and you start looking at some of the things, and you look at, the Bears went out and got Keelan Allen, and it's like, what are the Cowboys going to do? Green Bay went out and upgraded to Josh Jacobs. Oh, wow, what are the Cowboys going to do? Mm-hmm. Oh, Pittsburgh went out and they got Russell Wilson and Justin Field. It's like, ooh, what are the Cowboys gonna do? You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, you look around, it's like, oh, wait a minute. Now, the Atlanta Falcons, they went out, they got Kirk Cousins and Darnell Mooney. Okay. That's not the Cowboys program.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to go out and get these guys. But that's what a fan wants. A fan is fanatic. And maybe not the team, not the person that needs to be making these decisions. Sometimes a level head is what's needed. I have not had a problem with the fact that Dallas has not gone out and signed a major free agent. I never thought they were going to go out and get a major free agent in the first place. I thought if there was one free agent that they would go out and get, I thought maybe they would go out and get like Derrick Henry or someone like that, like a major running back. But even that, I'm like, that doesn't fit what they do. They tend to go and draft them a running back, bring them up through the system. They tend to go and sign their guys.
Yeah. Why are these people so upset when the NFL draft hasn't even happened yet?
Girl, I know you got a headache, but I want to dive through the screen and hug you on that one.
Wait. The NFL draft is like not even a month away. Like, chill out a second. Take a chill pill. Take a chill pill.
People are losing their minds. You know, the worst thing you can do, you want to kill a franchise, and I've seen many franchises get destroyed because of this. This is the time where teams destroy their franchise for a decade plus. They go out and they do that big splash free agent signing. They give them a big, huge contract, and they bring in another one, a big, huge signing. And most teams don't end up like the Rams, where they went out and they signed a bunch of big players, and they're kind of in salary cap hell, but they did get a Super Bowl out of it. You know, most teams don't go and say, hey, we're going to sign this guy and this guy and this guy. And next thing you know, you have all these bad contracts and nothing to show for it. Look at the Denver Broncos right now. They went out 2 years ago and they paid Russell Wilson a massive amount of money. 2 years later, Russ is in the deuces. He's over at Steel City, hanging out,
making money.
Yes, hanging out with Justin Fields. And the Denver Broncos are strapped.
Yeah.
$85 million in dead cap money. They don't have any money to go out and get any major free agents, to go out and sign any major blockbuster trades, because they're in salary cap hell, because they went out this time of year and they signed Russ 2 years ago to a massive contract. It cripples teams. That's why when the first day of free agency, when all the big names are coming off the board and people are like, why isn't Dallas making that move? Well, I'm glad they're not. What, you know,
I want to tell Dallas Cowboy fans, it's okay. Wait a minute. Calm down.
Woosah.
It's not over yet. Get into the zen. Get into your zen. Meditate for a little bit. It's okay. It's not over.
I would rather see Dallas make smart moves in the draft. What I am worried about Dallas is on those 3 contracts that everyone keeps talking about. Dak could easily end up being the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. Micah Parsons could be the highest paid defensive player in NFL history. CeeDee Lamb could easily be the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history. That's not sustainable.
No.
And that's the scary thing. How deep, how big of a contract, how deep into the salary cap are you going to go to sign those three guys?
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, every Dallas Cowboy fan want all three of them back, right?
Right.
Well, you can't keep all three of them and be in free agency spending like your daddy Warbucks, because there's a thing called a salary cap.
Yeah.
You go out and you get this big name free agent, this big name free agent, this free agent.
Mm-hmm.
None of them are going to be like, you know what? Pay me league minimum. No, all these top free agents want CSC, cash sweet cash. And they're gonna want their cash. And
Yeah.
if you sign all these free agents, you won't have money to have CeeDee Lamb on the team.
Mm-hmm.
You won't have Dak, and you won't have Micah. You may get one if you start going out and signing these free agents right now. You're gonna lose all three of them. Maybe you get one, but if you do what the Cowboys are doing, which is being smart. I look at this as the Cowboys are running a very smart organization. It's not me as a Cowboy fan. I'm just looking at it as a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
I have three big dollar guys that I have to pay, and I only have so much to pay. I'm going to sign my three big name guys. I've already said I don't know if I would sign Dak, not to the money that he wants. I'd be cool with 50 million for that. But and then I'm gonna strengthen my team through the NFL draft. I'm gonna bring in younger, talented players that are way cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yes, you can go out and sign a Derrick Henry for $15 million a year, or you can wait to the third round, fourth round, and get you a top young running back that's coming in the league for a couple million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe use that money so you can get sign Micah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna go out and bring in a high dollar another wide receiver when I haven't even paid CeeDee Lamb. I'm gonna lock CeeDee Lamb down, and then I'm gonna maybe draft me another couple more receivers, hoping they hit in the draft. But these are the things you have to do. Like losing Tyron Smith, that was a loss. But how are they going to do? What are they going to do? Are they going to go early and strengthen that offensive line by drafting early and getting them some defensive players? All of that is things that are coming down the line. All in is, did they draft well? Did they sign their quality guys? Are they still a contender for the playoffs? This whole thing about we have to be a Super Bowl contender is not realistic. What you have to do is there's steps to this game. You have to make sure you have a playoff contending team, make the playoffs, and then make those moves. You look at the Detroit Lions, their big plan last year, they got to the playoffs and they made it a lot further than anyone thought they would. But the fact is, in order to be in it, in order to win it, you got to be in it. And that's what Dallas is doing, in my eyes. Yeah. I think they're making the right decisions. You can watch some of the other shows, and it's kind of like, what are they doing? What are they doing? But the smart teams make smart decisions. Like, even look at Kansas City. Their big moves. What did Kansas City do? They retain players. Chris Jones, Marquise Brown. They locked in key players on their team. They're going to fill the rest in with draft picks and some other free agents down the road.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a successful organization does. Exactly what Dallas is doing. They want to sign their key players and then fill in the rest of the gap through the draft and through free agents that aren't going to break the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the way I look at it. Now, with this one, changing the subject a little bit, there are some teams when this whole thing was about teams that have done a great job and teams that have done a poor job and free agents. And Dallas was considered one of the teams that did a free agent.
The worst.
Yes. I tell you what, I'm looking at it and it's like the Rams losing Aaron Donald. That's a big loss. I mean, your Hall of Fame Pro Bowl after Pro Bowl defensive player just decided at the peak of his powers, he's out. Minnesota losing Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, that's
tough. Denver's crippled. Denver
is going to be sitting in the ICU for a hot minute.
Yes, exactly. They got $85 million on the cap. The only thing Denver can hope for is that they can draft well.
Yeah.
They're going to have to draft well. They put down the Los Angeles Chargers as a team that has issues. I think the Chargers did something incredibly smart. They re-signed their 2 priority defensive players and restructured their contracts so they could keep them. Mm-hmm. And now Jim Harbaugh is going to start drafting players. One thing that people do not understand, when you bring in a guy like a Jimmy Johnson or a Pete Carroll or a Jim Harbaugh, one thing that they have an advantage on all other teams is the fact that these guys have been coaching in college. They've been recruiting all these guys. So because they've been recruiting them, they've been watching them from high school all the way through. Mm-hmm. So these guys have an advantage in the draft coming in. And I think Jim Harbaugh is going to have a major advantage where there's going to be a lot of diamonds in the rough, those guys that no one else saw that are going to be breakout players. Don't be surprised over the next couple of years if you don't start seeing that with the Chargers. The Chargers, I think, are making the smart decision, even with their salary cap issues. Mm-hmm. I think they're making smart decisions. I don't quite know what Minnesota's doing. Minnesota's in a straight reset. And the Bears, all of a sudden, I wouldn't have done it this way, but the Bears have made their decision. They went out and they got Keenan Allen. Incredibly smart decision. If you're going to draft a quarterback, Caleb Williams with that first pick, make sure he has a number 1 target, someone to go to, a smart veteran wide receiver. I like that move. I'm very curious to see what they do, what else they do. Mm-hmm. I would like to see the Chicago Bears, now that they've made this decision, the decision is made. They're going to draft Caleb Williams. With that number 9 pick, I think it's the 9 pick, I would like to see them trade back on that position and get some more players. So I'd love to see them trade out of that number 9 spot because they need a lot more weapons. So would love to see what happens there. But that's kind of my overall take there.
Yeah. Ooh-wee. Y'all need to take a chill pill. Y'all really need to take a chill pill.
Talk about my Cowboy fans.
I'm talking about all of them. Everybody. They're all upset that
people are fanatics about their team
doing stuff with free agency, and it's like, hold your horses. You can start complaining when they don't do well in the draft. You can complain then. Hold your horses.
But see, most NFL fans, a lot of them don't follow college. Mm-hmm. So most of those guys, most of the NFL fans, they don't get excited about the draft until that player comes on their team. Then they start looking at them. So most people don't even know 99% of the players that's going to be in this draft.
Mm.
There are some quality players in this draft that can make some impactful, you make major impact on a team.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing who the Cowboys draft, because the Cowboys have been excellent at drafting. I'm also, as I said before, I'm very curious, probably more curious about who Jim Harbaugh is going to draft for the Los Angeles Chargers,
Mm-hmm.
because seeing where these guys are at, I mean, it's very interesting. But kind of seeing what the Broncos do now. I think Sean Payton made a bad decision with Russ.
Yeah.
I mean, Russ performed well. The salary, what it was going to hit your salary cap so hard that this decision on Russ might have doomed his tenure in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how, if Sean Payton turns the Denver Broncos around,
Mm-hmm.
send him to the Hall of Fame, because he's already most likely a Hall of Fame coach anyway. But this will be a miracle. I feel like he's just put himself in a serious situation.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. I agree. All right, guys. Well, with that, we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about, does Caitlin Clark need to win a title to be the women's greatest of all time? So make sure you guys stick around, and we'll be right back.